go.
Nice one. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the RGM Experience podcast. A podcast, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't already know, and why not? It's a podcast, ladies and gentlemen, where we delve into the grassroots music industry and beyond and find interesting people within it. And today is no different. We've got the lads from All Right. Hey up, lads, you all right? Joe and Brad's joined us today.
All right,
mate.
yeah.
How we
All
doing?
good.
So Brad's at home with guitars in background, some nice, if you're listening to the audio version of it, some nice festival memorabilia there of previous gigs, I presume there, mate.
That's the poster of the first ever festival we played with All Right, which was Why
Oh.
Not 2023?
Nice.
Yes.
Nice one. And behind Joe, he's got bloody Ibiza behind him, mate. I know, like a flash bastard with drinks and stuff. What are you drinking there, mate?
I've just had a sip of a lager, but I have also got a pina colada next to me as well.
Nice.
It's not normally me to have a cocktail, but when it's on the all-inclusive, you go.
Yeah,
with
you
it.
treat yourself, don't you? Nice
Yeah,
one. So how long you been out in Ibiza then?
This is day 3, and we're here for a week. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, bit of a chilled night tonight because I knew I was jumping on this, so we're staying around the hotel tonight.
Oh yeah, just chilling around here. Nice one. Okay,
Few
so
drinks.
well, thanks for joining us, lads. I've seen you guys play a few times over the years, and the last time I saw you was this feeling by the sea, and I can remember seeing you after, and I can remember saying to you because I was knackered just watching you. The amount of energy and like that you put everything into every live show, just made me want to have a chat with you and just kick back and share everything about All Right with the people that get involved with these podcasts. So thanks for joining us, guys.
Cheers for having us, mate.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. So, I did enjoy you cheeky little bastards the other day. That little video that you put out on your socials. Talk us through it rather than me describe it.
I'll let Brad go because it was actually his idea, so you can have
Oh.
the credit for that one.
Go on, mate.
Oh, it's just a daft idea, isn't it? They capture attention, and on a shit note, it feels like there's a band kind of packing it in left, right, and centre.
Yeah,
And you see these type of videos, so I thought, tell you what, we'll just play into it
yeah.
a bit cheekily. But so yeah, we did a video that kind of set up for a big fall of that's it. We've done 5 years. We're calling it a day.
Yeah.
But we flipped it and said we're going nowhere. You're getting an EP out of us. So yeah. It seemed to have done the job because it did really well.
I did watch it. I was just sat there watching. Oh, fucking hell! I wanted to interview those guys, and if they pack it in, that's that. And then I went, I see what they're doing here. Nice one. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, a bit naughty really, but did the job.
Yeah, nice one. A lot of people are doing that these days. They put in these big long, like when a band splits up and they put like a long fucking rant thing on a chat thing, like thanking everybody on it. And then at the bottom they say we're going nowhere. It's a bit of a thing to grab attention these days, isn't it? Because it works. I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you fooled me anyway, boys. So glad you're hanging around.
That's it. Yeah, it's been busy few months in the old studio, getting some new tunes cooked up. We've only ever really done singles, which is lovely because you do 2 or 3 a year and you can really focus on the one tune and make sure you put everything in. We've kind of got a big old batch of songs now where doing it all at once is just a whole new kettle of fish to us. We've learned lessons along the way, but we are on track and looking forward to getting the first single out, which is imminent, which if you're putting this out Monday, I believe we've already announced it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, tell us about it then while we're on it.
Yeah, I mean, why not? So, first tune off the single is called Mind Your Head. It was written by Liam, who was meant to be here, but for whatever reason is not. And our guitarist Ollie.
A drummer's written it.
That's drummers for you. Yeah,
Okay.
he's a good little songwriter, Liam.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good. He's done a couple of the previous tunes as well.
Yeah.
It's probably worth us mentioning, sorry, Brad, to interrupt there, but everyone in our band writes, which I think is very unique about us. So this EP that's coming out, the 4 of us have written on it. So Liam has mainly written one. He did that with Ollie, the other guitarist. Brad's written one. I've written a couple. So we are quite fortunate in that respect that we've got all sorts of ideas that get thrown in, and a lot of them are shit. Mine included as well. I throw bad ones in there, but we have the beauty of sorting through the shit and thinking, right, that's a good one. We don't care who's written it. If one's decent, we roll with it. So yeah, we're quite lucky, really.
Well, you've kind of got like I was speaking to the DMAs on a previous podcast, and they just basically have got a really like a massive work ethics when it comes to writing songs. They basically write a song a day. And they say the same, you're going to write some shit, but you get better at your craft by doing it the more that you can. And it just feel like a really unique, to have everybody writing songs for a band rather than just one or two of you. That sounds um, like a different dynamic that I'm used to speaking to about. Tell us about the dynamics. So like when somebody brings a song in, do you all have you all got one when you're coming in? Is it just like a bit of a fight to get attention with them sometimes?
No, it tends to just be a lot is done through WhatsApp. I think that's we're a very efficient band.
Yeah.
We don't say right. We practice every week on this day. We just work around our own schedules and stuff. So our WhatsApp is very busy. And if someone's written a tune, they just tend to fire it in the WhatsApp. And sometimes you'll put one in and no one even responds to it or acknowledges it, and you just think, oh fucking hell! Either that's a really bad one, or people are just too busy to listen to it.
Even
But
worse,
then
they get a thumbs up. They're the bad ones.
you might get one of
Give it a
them.
thumbs up. Yeah.
But yeah, every now and again, one will get thrown in, and everyone will be like, "Wow, that's a good one." And then what you'll do then is we'll say, "Right, let's get together and play this out in the either the practice room or in the studio," which it then generates the all right sound. I'll speak for myself as a songwriter. I'm not much of a guitarist. I can probably play 8 chords. Can just about do a bar chord. So when I write a tune, it's on the most simple chords. A lot of them have a very similar chord progression. A lot of them have a very similar strumming pattern. So I'll put them in, and they'll all tend to sound quite similar to what I've written previously. So it's important that if it sounds half decent, we all get together, because then the lads then bring it to life and make it sound like all right rather than just my type of song, really.
And what's your method then, Brad? How do you do it?
I'm a voice noter, and songs come in my head at the randomest of times. Walking down the canal to work, on the train, in shower. It's never when I'm sat with a guitar in my hand. So it's generally something comes in my head. I've got to get my phone out, no matter what I'm doing, voice note it, and then come back to it whenever I've got time to come back to it. But generally, like a lot of the songs I'll write are a mash of voice notes, and you kind of get so far with it, and then you're like, actually need a bridge. I'm scrolling through voice notes, listening to things I'd forgot I'd even recorded, and that'll do. Put that in there, and you kind of, I just formulate the tune as and where it comes, really. And yeah, hopefully it does the job, and we're getting tunes out of it.
Nice. So let's rewind a little bit then. So the band's been going 5 years. So 5 years is a decent amount of time, isn't it? So is that just after COVID that you started?
Yes, it happened during COVID, really. When things started getting eased slightly, one of my mates had a garden party, and then me and Matt, who was our original guitarist, we were like mutual friends of the lad that was having this party. And he was there, and I started speaking to him about music, and I'd basically been trying to learn guitar in lockdown, and he'd done the same. And he was like, "Oh, I've written some tunes," and I was like, "Oh, so have I." So we ended up having a few drinks, and then we started messing around at this party, and it was quite good, weirdly. So and then after it was at that point where you could do something. You could book to do something like book a band practice, but you couldn't go to a pub type thing.
Right.
So we said, well, why don't we just go into a practice room as sort of something to do? Started doing that, and then we ended up having a few tunes that we thought they were okay, so we put them out. They got a good reaction, so we announced the gig, and then that's when we got Brad on board initially, because we needed a bass player. The gig sold out in like 3 days, and it was like 350 cap, and it just sort of snowballed from there. Really, it was never meant to happen, but here we are, 5 years on. We've got an EP cooking away, and they genuinely are the best set of tunes we've written, I think. So, yeah.
How do you go from just having a few rehearsals to selling out 350 people? And how's that happen?
I think it was luck of the time, really. And I always praise Blackpool and the community and things. I think it was a combination of a few things. So everyone in Blackpool knows each other. When we announced that we were starting a band, it was quite unexpected. My background's always been I've played football and stuff. It's not a musical background, so I think people were quite intrigued by that. Like, what's that going to be like? So there was people, friends and mutual friends of people that thought, right, we'll go to that. But I think the big thing was everyone had been in lockdown for so long,
Yeah.
and it was lucky really. So we announced it in say the March dates that might not be correct, but and then the gig was mid-July. But at the time, there was no news on when the restrictions were going to be completely lifted. Yeah. And it turned out that the restrictions got lifted on the Friday and our gig was on the Saturday. So it was like everyone was so up for it. So I think it was that. I think people were sat at home and thought, well, I might as well buy a ticket. I'm not doing anything if it goes ahead. It was all quite just lucky, really, yeah.
Nice.
But it went really well. And like I say, just from there, it's just got better and better and we're still enjoying it. So we're still here.
Nice. So all Blackpool boys then?
Thereabouts. Yeah, Blackpool,
Yeah,
Fleetwood.
Fleetwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Filed Coast. We're all the
Filed
Filed Coast, aren't we?
Nice. Nice. So it quite happened quite organically then by, just went to this party, met a few people, got everybody involved, just went for it.
That's it, yeah. Well, now we've got obviously Smithy, Brad, Wilco, who are all from Fleetwood. I ended up drafting Brad in because I used to watch his band when I was younger. Him and Smithy were in a covers band, well, half covers, half originals, wasn't it, Brad Loon Deep? But I used to go,
what were they called?
Loon Deep. We've got an album on Spotify. Check them out. Have a listen.
Nice. Yeah, still going that.
Yeah.
So we released that in lockdown. It got postponed since 2014, and then in lockdown was like, we've got a full album though. Should we put that? That's how bored people were. Should we put this album, 6-year-old album, out for a laugh? But yeah, Joe drafted us in, and again, as Joe spoke to, I was sat at home thinking, if that goes ahead, happy days. I'll happily get the bass back out because it had been hung up for a long time at that point. And yeah, still here. Kind of asked me to help out. Not asked me to join the band yet, but I'm still kicking on.
Yeah. So what's like in general? Because I speak to a lot of people that are from seaside towns, and they tell me it's there's not a lot of space for original stuff because it's all touristy. It's all for cover bands and that kind of stuff for the tourists and stuff. What's it like? Being from Fleetwood, Blackpool. Set the scene for us. What's it like growing up into music? Yeah,
good scene in Blackpool. There's a lot of original acts, and there's some really good acts that have come out of Blackpool of recent years. We've got a good few music venues that are solely music venues to shout out the likes of the Waterloo, Bootleg Social, that are constantly and consistently putting live bands on. Bootleg have had acts from recently, like Lathams, who else have they've had some big names recently that do like the independent music venue week and things. So there is a good little crowd for originals in Blackpool.
Yeah, I suppose it's the biggest seaside town in the UK, I suppose, isn't it? There's probably a bit more scope than like when I've spoken to a few people from like Bidlington and stuff. They really struggle to get venues because there's the big one where we saw you for This Feeling a few months ago, and then there's not much else around apart from pubs that have got cover bands on. It's really difficult in some of these seaside towns. But I like to hear positive news, and Blackpool sounds like it's a good place to be, just if you're starting off with a band anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit different to a lot of small towns. Like Brad says, there are a good few music venues. There's a lot. Do you know what? It's not even just music. There's a good scene in Blackpool of creatives, of like I touched on it before, of everyone backs each other and wants the community to do well. But it is like that with the creative scene. There's a few hubs where everyone gets together, and that'll be artists will link in with musicians, and it's a nice vibe. But I think ultimately, the way we do it, we only really play one hometown show a year maximum.
Yeah.
You've got to get out and go to if you're from Blackpool, you've got to get out and go to the likes of Manchester first, and then spread from there, which we did quite quickly, because I was mindful that we did a couple of gigs quite early on at Bootleg, and I thought I don't want to become like the Bootleg band, that we're playing there every other week. So we were quite quick and lucky, really, that This Feeling backed us early on to start offering us gigs. They gave us one in Preston, then it was Manchester, and all of a sudden we'd escaped Blackpool. But I think that's the hardest thing to do is when you're from a small town, get your first few gigs out of town.
Yeah. I think I was at the Manchester. What was it? Breadshed for one of those big in 2000 and something like This Feeling do. I'm sure. Yeah, Breadshed. I remember seeing you.
2024, I think we got that. So we'd actually already done a couple of Manchester gigs before that. But I think what it was with This Feeling was because we sold that Blackpool one out so quick, which was nothing to do with any promoter. We did it completely off our own back. But then This Feeling took an interest. So very soon after that, we got offered. It was to support the Juice in Preston, which was their hometown show. So that was our second gig, and then we sold quite well for that, and then it just carried on from there. Really, and a couple of years later, we got the Why Not, which is what we were after, the festivals.
I still haven't forgiven the Juice. Just from just in Vidlington Spa. I was walking about with a big sticker on my back with the Juice on it. I didn't find out till the end of the night. Those little.
We saw loads of them. There was the little purple Juice stickers. They were everywhere.
Yeah. They're on my back, and I'm like, oh, here we go.
We were there the day after them in Brid, and them stickers were absolutely everywhere that you could imagine.
Brilliant. Well, life before the band a little bit then. So Brad, you mentioned you were in a band before. Let's start with you, Brad, a little bit. How did you first get into music? How old were you, and what was the landscape around you before you picked up a guitar?
Yeah, so I was 12. I was on the school holidays, and I was out with my mum in school holidays downtown in Fleetwood. And we popped in one of the pubs, what was called the Tank. I think it was called the Gasworkers, nicknamed the Tank. And my Auntie Joanne, who isn't my Auntie Joanne, but is my Auntie Joanne, which is Liam's mum, was in there. Said, "Oh, Liam's upstairs."
Yeah.
Said, "Oh, I'll go and see him. He's with his new band." And there was all of 4 of them stood there, no bass player. And I just sat there. It was massive, the Tank, and I sat at the back watching them, and they was doing their Oasis covers and whatever else. And Liam comes over, he goes, "Oh, why don't you get yourself a bass? You can join my band." And without thinking it through, I went, "What a great idea that is. Fantastic." So my nan used to save us £2 a week, and I was quite a good saver from a young age, never touched it. Went round and I had £60. So I withdrew that from the bank of nan. I went to Money Traders and bought whatever £60 could buy me, and it was the heaviest, awful bass. It's in the loft. It's like an axe. So I bought, it was a cheater, I think. Bought that, bought a little crappy amp, and that was me set up. And yeah, through, I don't know, peer pressure, I learnt bass, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was the music around the house? Was it something that you just weren't interested in at the time until you had this chance meeting? Nothing.
Well, wasn't bothered at all. I was into bands like Green Day and ABBA, so varied, music, just bits of music. I was into kind of music, yeah, but never really crossed my mind. My dad got us an acoustic one year, but never really crossed my mind to be in a band. So yeah, within a couple of weeks, and again in the school holidays, we were there every single day, just trying to learn songs. Which again it's like when people say, if you're gonna learn a language, fly to the country and speak it. It was kind of the equivalent. That I was just a young lad from a working class town, no real ambition to pick up a guitar, and a few lads have gone, "Come on, get a bass and get involved." And that, yeah, as I say, the rest is history. I ended up playing a gig at my own 13th birthday party. That was my first ever gig. And it kind of went on from there, just over the years, progressed into function bands, weddings, christenings, you name it, done it. And then obviously the pub circuit around the Fylde, which, as you kind of mentioned about Brid, massive cover scene around the Fylde. So we was out every weekend. Never had a part-time job because I was in the band that was giving us maybe 40-50 quid a week, and quite happy at that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good little upbringing.
Well, talk us through. So you were sat on an album with another band then for 6 years, and then you just released it. So just tell us
Same
about
band,
that.
yeah.
Tell us about that bit. Oh, same lads.
Yeah, so again, Smithy was in our band. I drafted in because our original drummer was living in Leeds, couldn't commit to sticking with All Right. So I said, I know someone, let me ask Liam, and he was well up for it. So yeah, I was in a band with Liam years ago. It was Liam who, my Auntie Joanne, who wasn't my Auntie Joanne. Liam's my cousin, who's not my cousin. Just grown up together, mum and dad's best mates with his mum and dad type thing. So yeah, grew up with Liam. His dad was a drummer, hence he become a drummer. That's where that link was. And yeah, been in function bands, which then was writing originals. I think Joe still listens to a couple of them today. Believe it or not.
You like them?
They're in his playlist.
A few bangers in there, mate. Yeah. I've asked if we can cover a few of them in our set. To be fair,
there we go.
Yeah, maybe not.
So so Joe, you were into football before then? No, like when you were growing up, excuse me, when you were growing up in Blackpool, not no interest in music at the beginning. How did you
No, no.
how did you
To be fair,
work out you got a voice, and how did it all happen for you?
no. So I was always massively into music,
Hmm.
but as a consumer mainly rather than like a
Yeah.
performer. So from a young age, my dad was big into music. But so me growing up, I was listening to Pink Floyd when I was like 6,
Yeah.
which was really weird. You know, at school and stuff, people would be like, What are you listening to?" type of thing. And he started taking me to gigs from a very young age as well. He took me to like Roger Waters when I was 8.
Oh,
Just everywhere, basically. Every time there was a decent gig at the Winter Gardens, the biggest venue in Blackpool, Dad used to take me. And he didn't really like football, my dad, weirdly. But me and my brother were football obsessed. My dad tried to steer us into the performing music, so he paid for me to have piano lessons and my brother to have guitar lessons.
all right.
So I could play piano from the age of about 7, but never did anything with it. My brother could play guitar. Again, never did anything with it because we were both good footballers. We both played for Blackpool Academy. Um, yeah, just loved going to gigs, but never really played. And then, like, it was literally lockdown. My dad had died not long before as well. So I think what happened was I had a lot of spare time on my hands in lockdown. I went home. I drove back illegally to Blackpool to see my mum. And my brother's guitar that my dad bought him years ago was still sat in my mum's. And I thought, I'm going to take that back and I'm going to try and learn it because I've got nothing else to do. And as soon as I could write, I could play four or five chords. I wrote a tune about my dad, and then that was it. Then I was like hooked on writing songs and whatnot. And
Yeah.
yeah, from there, I think I always loved a bit of karaoke and whatnot. But yeah, the songwriting really just happened in lockdown because he had a bit of time. And then yeah, I'm now obsessed. I think me and Brad we're obsessed and just constantly thinking about what can we do to push us on. Like so, yeah, I'm hooked.
Well, sorry to hear about your loss, mate. I lost my mum recently. I know how difficult these things can be. And does it like drive you on that? You know, you do
It
it.
do,
Do you do it a lot for your dad?
I've said it before, like, and it's a bit bittersweet, really, because I think it was what my dad always wanted was for me to
Mm.
do music, but I never did it when he was alive. But then I probably wouldn't have done it if he was still alive, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think because I had that time and he'd recently died, I thought, well, I'm just going to do it because it was what he probably wanted me to do, type thing. So yeah, if it wasn't for that, then I probably wouldn't have ever done it. Well, the first tune I wrote was about him dying, so
Yeah.
yeah, not not to go all sad on people. Like
Yeah.
it's not the song itself that's about my dad. It's not a sad song.
Yeah.
It's like a celebration of life, if you will.
Yeah, no, I could appreciate that. And when did you first realize you got a bit of a voice then? Karaoke? Bit pissed out? Just banging a
No,
few
to be fair,
tunes
I
out?
think that was when I was a kid as well. I was always just singing when I was
Yeah.
a kid, but I never did it to think, oh, I'm going to be in a band. I just
Yeah.
loved flying about singing, like exactly like I am on stage now. I was like that as a kid, but
Wow.
then it wasn't about music. It was about football. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I got older and realised I wasn't very good at football anymore as well. That might have been a part of
So
it.
big Blackpool fan are you? Or
Yeah, Blackpool fan. Yeah.
yeah, and you play for the academy then? How far could you have gone, do you think?
Well, I left off my own back when I was 14,
Mm.
just because I was sick. I was just sick of it. I got to that age where all my mates were going out on a weekend. I was training three times a week, then playing on a Sunday. And when you play at that age, I don't know if it's changed since, but it wasn't competitive. So I'd play every Sunday. I'd travel about the country with my dad driving me about, who didn't even like football, to play in a friendly every week. And I was watching my mates play after me on a Sunday for like the local Sunday league teams, and it was competitive and there was something to it. And I just went and watched my mates one day after I'd finished playing for Blackpool, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to quit. I'm going to go and play with my mates. And I'd never regretted it. You know, I was quite good, not very good anymore. So yeah, music's my thing now.
Yeah, nice one, nice one. So let's get on to. I mentioned it right at the beginning. The energy and the performance you put into your live shows. How did you hone that side of it? Because as I said at the beginning, you know, just watching you, I can remember thinking you were really enthusiastic and great the first time I saw you at Breadshed years ago. But when I saw you in Bidlington the other night in that Ram room upstairs, I was just like, fucking, hell, I'm knackered just watching them. Where's the energy and where's the performance and where does all that ball of energy come from, really?
No idea, mate.
No
No,
idea.
genuinely, I think there's no, totally speaking for myself, but there's no like, it's not choreographed, There's not.
Yeah.
I don't sit at home and think, right, what am I going to do? I'm literally, I just love it. I absolutely love being on that stage with all my mates, playing tunes that we know are good. But a big thing that does sit in the back of my mind is from something that I'm good at personally is because I've been to so many gigs. It's been a massive part of my life. So I feel like I know what a crowd wants.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And the amount of bands that I've watched when they're just flat and there's no energy, it bores you. Even if I love the tunes, I'm like, I'm bored to death. And I think when I'm on stage, don't let people get bored. So you've got to give it yourself, so they can bounce off your energy, if you will.
It doesn't take long for people to start tapping the foot and just think, oh, I'm just going to go and get a pint, does it? You've got to keep them, haven't you? You've got to work hard at that and make sure they don't go. Particularly like festivals, if you're playing to a lot of new people, I suppose that's like you've got to keep them there, really, haven't you, to get them invested.
That's something that we've learned along the way, though. I think Brad, you'll probably agree with me. Previously, we'd put like obviously Tangerine Dream is arguably our biggest tune. Well, it is. It's got the most streams and things. So we used to play that in our festival set lists and on our supports and stuff. But then we started to think, well, if we think this crowd don't actually know us, and how into Tangerine Dream are you going to be if you've never heard it before? Because it's quite slow. It's there's not really much to grip you. So we've sort of got onto the fact that when we play a half an hour set list, it just needs to be high energy songs. Like even if so Tangerine Dream gets excluded because it's not what people that don't know you want. I've done it. Would you agree, Brad?
Therefore, yeah, we've got some really nice kind of and that make like tunes really, but they're just not worth putting in a festival set because they're not the kind of BPM that people bop to, and
Yeah.
you're walking past a tent and hear that going, yeah, whatever. You want to hear some thumpers that turn your head and go, who's on in there, and who's that jumping about type thing. So we do just try and keep it high energy, try and grab attention because if you've got 25, 30 minutes to really just get people drawn in and hopefully then go on the phone and give you a follow or listen to your tracks or whatever it is. So yeah, it's something we're all up against. There's a lot of new music out there. Just make sure you're doing all you can to find a bit of a niche. Make sure you're well prepped, you're well oiled, well rehearsed, all the rest of it. And when you got on that stage, you just got to give it really.
So how did you adjust, Brad, to the live performance side of it then? I could just like watching Joe up front when he's just all over and he's just like fucking. I can imagine you being a bit of a climber at some point. You're going to climb some at one day, Joe. I know you are. You want to be. You remind me of one of them kind of front men. But how do you, Brad? How do you like? Did it come naturally to you to be that enthusiastic and just put this performance on?
Well, no, because I've been doing it so long.
Yeah.
I don't think I've really changed who I am on stage, if that's a thing anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of locked into because I do quite a bit of backing singing, so it's quite a concentration to be playing and making sure you're on pitch with your harmonies, and likewise keeping the band locked in, sort of mainly with Liam on drums. Yeah, there's just a lot going on, and you just got to make sure you're smiling and bobbing about. A lot of the feedback I get from close friends and family and the rest of it is like quite straight faced. Well, in my head, I've got big smiles. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Okay.
But it is. I watch videos back, and I'm just really straight faced and look like I can't be arsed. So I don't know. I'm not really there yet. I've got work to do. Yeah.
Have you ever climbed out then, Joe?
No, I didn't hear what you said then. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, sorry, but have you ever climbed out or thought
no, I got
that?
up. I got up on the top barrier at Truck a couple of weeks ago. I think it's when we get onto the bigger stages that there's actually more things to climb. That's when you'll see me come to life, I think. But what I was going to say was, I do honestly think as well is this is something that we've always been quite strict on as a band is that we do it to enjoy ourselves. So we are genuinely a group of mates that love being with each other. So when we play a gig, we're going there to enjoy it, and we've always said if it ever gets to the point where we're doing it and we're thinking, I can't be arsed with this type thing, we won't do it anymore. So when we are on that stage, it is five lads and usually a few of our mates and our girlfriends that have come along for the ride that are just there having having a big day out. Do you know what I mean? So when we're on stage, we love it. So I think that's probably where the energy comes from as well. It's not a chore. It's something that we want to be doing.
Yeah. So what would you say would be the next goal to reach as a band? Is it a particular like venue, or is it? I know you've got your EP coming up, which is probably a big goal to reach, but like gigs and that kind of stuff, and just grinding the band forward. What's the next like goal for you as lads?
Think
the one.
Oh, go on, Brad.
The one for me has been the EP for sure. It's definitely the biggest project we've taken on. Because as Joe's kind of alluded to there, it's a hobby, and we get in the studio every now and again and just pop a tune out and see how it goes down. This is a first reel, everyone locked in, tight deadlines to work to, 1,000,001 things that you don't even realise you need to do for an EP.
Like what?
Just, I mean, we're doing first time CD and vinyls.
Yeah.
Just to even hone in on stuff like that, getting barcodes for a CD to put it on, like it's just admin everywhere. But then syncing, so we've got a certain online service provider that we're doing that through. You've got to link that up with certain stuff, just links everywhere. So that took a few days, longer than I ever thought, to even just get a website set up to get some pre-orders on. Like it's a real time haul in it, Joe, at times, just in terms of it's a real time eater.
That's what people don't see behind the scenes, isn't it? They see you for half an hour, 45 minutes on stage and think that's just a piece of piss. But they don't see all the admin and all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes to make these things happen, and add the latest thing of content creating as well, and trying to be on the socials every 5 minutes and try and find what these fucking algorithms are and add that to it as well.
That's the bit we've kind of got down a little bit over the last couple of years. Like we put Everlasting out last summer, found a bit of a knack with that, and that we grew quite a bit off that, which was nice, and learned again a few lessons. So we're going into the EP strong. We feel like we've got everything in place we need to. The goal, back to your original question, is just for it to get it out there and for people to hear it, really. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Still a few deadlines to tick off, still a few tunes to finish up and get mastered and stuff, but yeah, we're bang on time and looking forward to it.
Anything for you from that, Joe?
Yeah, obviously same as Brad. I think obviously everyone does, they want the repeat to do well, but it deserves to do well. Like there's some genuinely unbelievable tunes in that, and you'll hear some of them before the full EP comes out as singles, but it does deserve to be heard. So hopefully it does it. Hopefully it catches on. But then for me, obviously we've landed that Pigeon Detective support slot, and that's our first big one. Obviously we've done ones with the Lilacs and the Claws and stuff. But I genuinely think as a live band, we're a better band live than we are on recordings. I think everyone says that, and we know that in ourselves. People see us live for the first time and they always say to us, wow, you're so much better live. So I think we do deserve more opportunities with bands of that size and, on stages like that. So for me, hopefully the EP gets heard and it turns a few more heads so that next year we can get a few more of them bigger slots. So that's it for me.
Just that must be exciting. Have you played there before?
No, Winter Garden's biggest venue in Blackpool, so it's exciting.
What's it hold, that place?
Well, there's a couple of rooms. Well, there's more than a couple, but there's two big ones. Yeah. So we're playing Olympia, which I think
2000. I think
2000.
Nice.
And then there is another one in there that's Empress Ballroom, which I think is 3000. But yeah, 2000's a good number, isn't it?
That just sounds like just to think about playing to that many people just must be a lot of fun, and it must be a lot to like strive you on, really. You've just got this big massive fun day out in Blackpool with all your friends and family. That must be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I think us in ourselves, we've sold loads of tickets because obviously it's our biggest show, but it's not even our gig. But we know loads of people have bought tickets to come and see us playing in such a big venue. So for me, it's an opportunity for us to go on and make a statement in that we deserve to be on a stage of this size, So yeah, I'll I'll be on it that night to show people what we're about.
Do you prepare different when you've got a bigger stage to play to? Because sometimes when you feel if you're a bit cramped in, or if they stood right over there, do you prepare in different ways for that kind of stuff?
It's for me, it's nicer to have more space because I'm always
Yeah.
throwing my arms about and stuff on, and the amount of times I've like,
by a bass and stuff.
yeah, I've been hit by someone's the end of the guitar, or I've hit someone's guitar and thought, shit, I might have knocked it out of tune or whatever. So it gives me a bit more freedom to have a big stage. It might be something for me to climb on as well, maybe.
Nice. Special outfits and stuff. Are you going all out?
No, I don't. We don't really do that type of thing, do we? We're always just the same. To be fair, I had my top off at truck. I might go top off again.
There we go. And of course, you've got 2 gigs coming up in November as well. Headline gigs, Glasgow and Manchester. 7th of November, Glasgow at the Audio, and 14th of November, Manchester at Yes Pink Room. Great rooms. So
Yeah.
have you? So tell us about those gigs that are coming up.
Yeah, so we actually announced them before, and planned them before the EP came about, really.
Yeah.
So then when we decided we were going to do an EP, it was like, right, well, let's link it in so that it's going to be released close to them gigs that we've already got booked in. So it all sort of works well, really, in that we'll be playing those gigs and able to play a few of the tunes off the new EP, hopefully sell a couple of the EPs at them as well, which will be nice. But yeah, 2 very good rooms. We've played Glasgow once before, and I loved it. I thought the crowd was amazing. Obviously, Glasgow's a great night out, so I'm excited to go back up to Glasgow. But then Manchester, obviously we've played Manchester loads of times. This is our biggest ever Manchester headline, and it's a room that I personally have always wanted to play. So when we were booking this headline, we knew it needed to be at least a 250 cap. So it was between either Yes Pink Room or Night and Day. Very tough choice because they're both iconic, but I just think there's something about that Pink Room that looks really cool. So yeah, we locked that in. So I'm excited about that one, and I think we've got the supports lined up for that as well, and it's very exciting who we've got on with us.
Not allowed to say it, then.
We can't say anything yet, no. But
well, watch this space anyway, guys.
It's all down to this feeling when they announce. Sure. But yeah, it's exciting who we've got on in it, Brad.
Yeah, decent name, and yeah, I'll say no more because I'll get carried away.
Oh, I'm a right nosy bastard. I right want to know, but I'll respect.
I'm not excited about it. I wish we could announce it now, to be fair, but we just can't.
Okay, well, watch your space. We'll share it as well, just to keep a lookout on your socials. So, right, okay. So you've got these gigs in November, the big EP. As a band, have you started preparing for next year yet? Have you even started to think about that, or have you got too much ahead of you right now?
It kind of just rolls around, doesn't it, Joe? Like there's got a few of these sort of medium-sized festivals sort of coming through already, which is nice. So yeah, it does. It kind of, we're at a point now where things kind of tick along. And yeah, getting some of the foundations in place, I guess, for next year. I think all focus has just been solely on getting this EP bang on though, because it's just taken up all of our energy to make sure it's as good as it should be and deserves to be.
Well, I'm going to make sure there's a description within the description of this podcast. If you watch on YouTube or listening, wherever you're listening, just look in the description and there'll be a pre-save link to that EP. If somebody's hovering over that link, lads, and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Am I going to press it or not? What would you say to those people to make them press it?
Do it.
Just do it. Yeah, I know. I'm going to stop asking that question because I get the same answer every time. It's just like, just press the fucking thing.
No, honestly, there's tunes on that they're unbelievable. You know, some of them are still not even completely done yet, and we've got like very early demos. And I don't listen to my own tunes much, but there's a couple of them that I'm like, I keep putting it on, and I'm like, that is a banger. That like, I don't know if you're the same, Brad, but the one that you wrote in particular, I can't stop listening to. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I think even if it's just to. I mean, we're included in it, but any band that you're just maybe hovering over the link, just do it, because I have got such a newfound appreciation for independent bands that are doing this all off their own back, taking the risk, and it is risk because there's a lot of financial risk in it in terms of what we're doing. So yeah, support bands that are doing this, whether they're a hobby hobby band doesn't sound a great term, but whether it's lads doing it for a bit of fun or lads that are really trying to pursue careers in music, everything in between, just get behind it, because you're doing more than you'll ever know to support them.
And a little cheeky question just before I let you get off and spend the rest of your evenings. Who's the best songwriter out of you all then?
That is a tough one, that, because everyone's different in that Smithy's sitting on heaps of tunes that he wrote when he was like 10.
Right.
So he's unbelievable in that respect. Brad only really sends you a tune when he's wrote a banger. So he wrote Runaway, and this one that he's now got on this EP, like, them two for me are like my favourite all right tune. So it's between Smithy and Brad, I think.
Don't put yourself down. You did Everlasting, didn't you?
I did do Everlasting, but the reason I don't say I'm a good songwriter is because I just literally write about what's happened. There's no like, there's not clever. Like Everlasting, I just wrote about a scenario, and the two that I've wrote on this, I've just wrote about scenarios. So I just tell a story. Smithy or Brad, I think.
Very modest of you there, mate. Very modest.
Yes,
As a front man as well. Very modest of you. That's rare.
He's had a pina colada.
Yeah, it must be the pina colada. I'm feeling nice.
Oh, well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Very much appreciated. I love the band. I love everything you do about it. I love the live performance. Can't wait for the EP. We're going to be shouting about it here at RGM. Wish you all the best for the rest of the year, lads. My throat's going now. It's a hot one today. And I will see you down the front of a gig one day and hand you a pint, no doubt, very soon. Thanks for joining us, boys. It's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Cheers, Carl.
Legend, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, boys.